and welcome to the Good Talkers podcast. We are on season 3 officially, and we're so excited to be continuing our journey talking about all things voiceover and our careers and just having fun, goofy, awesome times in the booth with each other.
Yay!
In case you're new here, my name is Ashton Haugen, and I am joined by the ever so lovely Tessa Livingston.
Woohoo!
The also extremely lovely Deanna Cooney.
Hey, hey, hey!
And our extremely wonderful, husky-voiced podcast producer, Jordan from from NZ Audio Editors. And we love you, Jordan. You're the best.
Yeah, cool. I'll take it. Good stuff. Good to be back. Season 3. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We're on season 3, guys. Season 3.
It's crazy. I can't.
Yeah.
I just it blows my mind that we've made so many episodes. I just keep going, what? How did that happen?
It almost has feel like it's flown by. It's been so fun and so
Yeah.
easy to talk about the things that we talk about, and really, really awesome. I'm so happy to be here with you 3 awesome people talking the good talk. So today I do have a little thing I do want to share with our audience. So I have a doggy, a puppy. He's a Papillon mix. His name is Fender. I've had him since he was a puppy. He's 14 years old now. So he's a very elderly puppy. And he's starting to suffer from what I'm referring to as doggy dementia, which I didn't even know that dogs could get.
Yeah.
But he's my first senior dog that I've ever had. So he's having a little bit of a hard time today. So he's going to be in the booth with me. If you hear puppy sounds, that's what that is. He's currently sleeping at my feet. So right now he's okay. But if you hear puppy sounds, a little bark or something, that's what that is about.
Maybe a snore.
Yeah, there might be a little snore. I took his
Doggy
collar off
snores.
because I was afraid he was going to shake and go ding, 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 ding everywhere. But
Well, Deanna's got chickens. You've got old elderly puppy. I'm thinking about getting a cat. I really want a booth cat. So I'm thinking that's going to happen. Jordan, what animal are you going to get to put in your space?
I've got loud flatmates.
Oh, done. Easy.
Yeah, they're really annoying at times.
And they're probably animals, sometimes.
You can't
eat like
spray them
animals.
with a water gun to tell them to shush, can you?
Oh, good. Yeah.
Maybe you can.
Here's an idea.
Oh, okay. Well, today we are talking the good talk about us. So we have been so delighted to get questions rolling in about who we are, our journeys as voiceover artists, and maybe some juicy little booth stories we might get into. So we're going to kind of do almost not a rapid fire, but we're going to do a lot of questions that people have submitted to us and let you know our answers. Are we ready to go, team?
Ding, ding.
Ready to go.
Okay. So we have our first question, and it says, ooh, it's a good one. The first question is, what is the worth? What? A little bit?
Is that your worth?
That's not the question. The question actually is, what is the worst booth moment or experience you've ever had? The worst.
I can start with this. They come to mind very fast. I have 2. So the first one is that I was having some trouble with my lower back. And we're to the point where it kind of it teeters on the edge of seizing, and then all of a sudden it seizes, and I have to go to ground. I just have to go to my knees, and it's not very good. So I had that almost happen in a booth, which wasn't. So I was kind of in there, half holding on to things and trying to straighten myself out. So that wasn't very fun. The other one was when I did a long form reading and I couldn't say the word Pinot Noir properly.
You just said it great, though.
Yeah, I know. That fucking time.
Now I'm fine.
I have PTSD about it. I get really stressed every time I go to say it. And because the way they asked me to do it, they were like, we want you to sound Kiwi, but we don't want you to sound super French when you say the word. We want to blend between the two so that we, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And because they told me that, I was like, Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir.
Pinata.
Pinata. Or I would get, so it would be a full sentence and the word would be in the middle and I'd be like, you should try our lovely Pinot Noir and I would just stop in the middle of the sentence. It was horrible. It was a 2-hour booking. I made it almost 2.5 hours. It was horrific.
Ouch.
It was like I was borderline tears half of it, and I was, had to keep shaking out my arms. It was the most horrific thing I've ever done. And Pinot Noir is a nice wine, and if you want to drink it, go for it. But
and
it
did
makes
they
me
ever
stressed.
hire you again?
Yeah,
Those
no, they
people?
probably won't.
Wait, have you
Whoa.
had Pinot Noir since?
No. Because I go to ask for it and I can't say it out loud. I'll,
Can I have a white wine?
Can I have a white
Give me
wine,
some white
please?
wine.
Can I please have a Pinot Noir?
There you go.
Pinot Noir.
It's perfect.
Pinot Noir.
What about you, Deanna? Do you have any
Well,
stories you would like to share?
it's really funny. I've been racking my brain trying to think of things, and because I've been doing this for such a long time, I probably have forgotten some stuff that happened just because, when bad shit happens, my tendency is to go, put that down, don't think about that again, move forward, learn the lesson, and then forget about it, sort of, But I also don't know that I've had any really bad things happen. I've made it at a point in my entire career to make sure that bad shit doesn't happen. But I also have been really lucky because stuff like Tessa's bad back and that kind of thing, I've had lots of those kinds of issues throughout my life, but they never seem to have interfered with voiceover, which is really just lucky, I
How
think.
wonderful.
Yeah, I know, right? I think probably the only thing I can remember is it happened in the last 12 months and I couldn't say professional. I had to say for a professional clean. And it wasn't that I couldn't say professional, but when you put fora in front of it, it turned into for a professional. For a professional clean. And I could not get my mouth around it. I think I've talked about this in another episode, but I could not get my mouth around it. And I was working with an engineer who I've known for a very, very, very long time, hooked up with a studio over East. So I'm in his studio doing this big session with this big agency, and I couldn't, it took me 5 or 6 goes to get it out. I had to do my little trick with my finger in my knuckle in my mouth, saying for a professional clean, for a professional clean, to get that out. And when I finally did it, it sounds so forced just on that one little word, but they keep rolling over the ad. It keeps playing. So it's going to be on air forever, I think. This one example of me not being able to do my fucking job is going to be on air forever. So that's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Well, maybe not forever, but you know what I mean.
I love that. We're going to go to the next person, but I just wanted to jump in on a word. I had a voiceover the other day where I couldn't say the word curated.
Oh.
Curated.
Curate.
Curated.
Corrado.
It was curated and created. I was like, what the fuck? Curated and created. I can't. Oh, it was horrible. But that was my half a moment. Ashton, what about you? Worst booth moment?
So this was one of my, I guess, first professional. This was I think my first professional session that I ever had, live session. And it was with a client. It was to do some ADR. It was really, really quick. They wanted me to do 2 lines. I was going to be in and out. Boom, boom. And it was pretty quick. But it was for 2 lines, and the audition was for a newscaster type of voice. And so that's what I did, and that's what I got booked for. Then when I got to the session, they're like, okay, but the second line, now we want you to sound like a mom, but we want you to sound completely different than the first person. And I didn't know that when I recorded the first line. And I was so in my head that they had sprung this on me in my very first session. It's not even that big of an ask, but they sprung it on me, and I just got in my head, and I feel like I couldn't do it. The newscaster just kept coming out because because I couldn't.
You've patented it. You're like, it's here.
Yeah.
I couldn't tilt. I couldn't change. I couldn't tilt. And usually I'm really good at taking direction. I've been told that multiple times, but it's just, I think it was just because it was my
Stress
first
is intense.
big, this is an intense session. And I was so excited to first my first big booking that that's what happened. And I was like, oh.
Did you practice it lots beforehand?
What I did was I re-listened to my audition because
Yeah.
it's ADR. And I was like, oh, okay, they're going to want something really similar to that. So I re-listened to my audition a few times, and I think that's where I got in my
You locked
head.
your shit in.
Yeah, got it patterned, right?
Yep. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Be able to be flexible. Be flexible. Go with the flow. Because you're gonna need to do that. I learned that the very hard way. But it's all good. It all turned out all right in the end. It's not something that like there's like a career ruining thing. We all have those little moments.
Oh, of course.
Okay, moving on to question number 2. Question number 2 is another really good one that I think we can all relate to in some ways. Question 2 says, I wanted to be a full-time voice artist, but I had to go back to my other job to supplement my income. If you're not full-time, what other jobs have you done or currently do to help out financially?
I
can
love
go
that
first, yeah?
question. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, Deanna,
It's a
you
good
go.
one.
Because I'm a massive proponent of diversifying your income streams anyway, right? Like as a when I decided in my very early 20s that I was going to have like a creative career for the rest of my life, right? I went, right, I want to be an actor forever. I better have other jobs. Because it was just like
Yeah.
it was just the fundamental requirement for me to be able to keep pursuing that thing, So I have always had other jobs early on in my life, like in my 20s and 30s. It was like hospitality stuff. So like bartending, waitressing, being a barista, working in cafes. My partner tells everybody, Deanna makes awesome coffee because she's an actor, right? Like that's...
That's so rude, but it makes so much sense.
But it's true,
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's why I can make coffee. If I hadn't been pursuing acting and I'd gone and done the thing that I went to uni for, I would not have mad barista skills, right? So
This is true. This is true.
and I love coffee. I love being able to make good coffee. So I'm all like, yeah, it's great. It's really, really good. So that's what I did in my 20s and 30s, and then in my 30s, I sort of started doing some other bits and pieces as well. Like I've done all sorts of stuff. I've like door knocked like for telco companies. Like I've done all sorts of different things. And I will happily continue to do all sorts of different things. But as I've moved through my career, I've picked up other things that fit into the creative space as well. So I'm also a photographer. And in the last 5 years, I've added coaching and teaching to my like diversified income streams and that kind of thing, So I have always had other jobs. I think it's really, really sensible. Putting all your eggs in one basket can be really, really hazardous.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I kind of jumped. We've talked about this before on the podcast, but I've kind of jumped in this career like with no safety net. And while I'm glad that I did, nowadays, I'm glad that I have also, diversified my income stream. I also teach. I teach at a university. And then, me and Tessa, we offer some other classes and things online. I have people reach out to me asking for, my coaching and things like that. And it's really helped. It's helped a lot. Not just that, but also diversifying my voiceover, like
Yes.
income streams, like not just focusing on one area. Like I've worked very heavily in the audiobook industry, like very heavily. I would say that like that's my bread and butter. That's where I get most of my income from. But had I not reached out and started to do like e-learning or other things, podcasting, and other YouTube videos, doing voiceover for YouTube videos. Like if I had not reached out and done those other things, I don't think that I could have survived financially, honestly.
Yeah.
Diversifying not just in like doing other things as well as voiceover, like other creative things, obviously, because I don't think I could handle like a corporate 9-to-5.
Yeah.
It's just not, I'm just not built for it. I would be terrible.
Me too.
I'm an awful employee.
I'm terrible
fucking
too.
Very,
man.
very
Oh
bad
my
employee.
I'm
I
really
can't even,
bad.
I'm not even good with myself, as a self. Like, I am my job. And sometimes I struggle with me. It's not good. What do you teach at university, Ashton?
Oh, I teach acting for animators. So I actually teach. It's just so rewarding and awesome. So I teach. It's for an art school, and so I teach people who want to be animators the principles of acting so that they can translate that into their animations. And it is Oh, so fun. The students are awesome. They are fantastic, super talented. I'm just so happy to be there. And it's still a creative career. I get to still use like my creative juices to do that. So I guess my advice would be if you do need to supplement your income, try to supplement it in a way that's not going to be like soul crushing to you.
Yeah.
Like I understand we have to work all of those. Sometimes we have to get a job as a waiter. You know what I mean? We have to get a job as a server. Sometimes we'll have to do those things.
Sometimes you have to stack shelves at a supermarket, you know, like. But I also think that those things can just also provide a bridge to something else, you know?
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily have to think of like this job that I need to get is going to be part of my life forever. So when there was a time in my life where I was like, shit, I actually need some regular income here. Like the photography thing is just getting started. Voiceover's a bit quiet right now, whatever it was. And I went and worked for a company that did school photography. So they go into schools, they line the kids up, they bang out like hundreds of photos a day.
Oh, yeah.
It's really, really intense. And I lasted there for 6 months. I couldn't do it anymore. There was too much about the way that the structure worked that didn't fit with me. It just wasn't a good alignment. But it got me through a really shitty period. It got me through a really, really hard time. And I learned a bunch of stuff while I was doing it that I now use in my photography career all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So I think you've got to be a bit like, yes, don't try not to do things that are soul crushing, but if you have to do a soul crushing thing for like 2 months or 3 months or 1 month or whatever, just to create a bridge between where you are now and where you want to go, do it, you know, suck it up. Just get in there, do the thing that you need to do to keep yourself engaged in the thing that you really want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
sometimes by getting like a small little job, what that actually does is gives you a break from what you are so desperately trying to create that actually you're blocking yourself from creating it because you're in it all the time. That's actually what I'm doing at the moment. I'll talk about me and what else I do. One of my dear friends says, "Oh, it's my favourite thing to do. Talk about me." Whenever like he'll interrupt other people to be like, "It's my favourite thing to do." It's great. It's actually really funny. It sounds rude, but it's the way he does it is really funny. So I was also a speech and language pathologist, but I don't practice in that anymore. I'm a one-on-one coach for voice, so particularly for like safety and projection and those sorts of things, and I'm dabbling in a few other bits and pieces. But so that's what I do on the side. I do one-on-one coaching, and I'm also a course creator. So like Ashton and I have one voiceover for beginners, which is really cool, and I also have a intro to breath and vocal stamina, which is really cool. It's like a 1-month training course, and I love teaching that stuff because it's so exciting when someone goes from being like having no idea how the voice works to even having like 20%. It changes so much for them. And Deanna, you've probably seen people go through that process so frequently as well.
Yes.
It's really cool. So I do that on the side. And I was a PA for a friend of mine who was a lawyer for a little bit. That was really cool. It was great. I got lunches and I organised files and I had a marvellous time. It was wonderful.
And I think as actors, like all of
it's
those
vital.
experiences, we need all of those things to like be able to create characters that are truthful and grounded in reality. And all of those things help that creativeness inside of you. So
nothing's wasted, right?
no, nothing at all.
It feels like it at the time. While
it's
your
not.
soul's being crushed, but nothing is being wasted.
Look, even having your soul crushed for a month is helpful as an actor. Right? Like,
Yes.
it just, like, if you can have experiences, and I'm not talking about being a method actor, right? I'm not talking about putting yourself all the way back into that experience to be able to relive it and blah, 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 right? Like,
No, thank you.
not my vibe. But it all adds up. It gives you insights into, like, different ways of living and other people's experiences and perspectives, and it teaches you different things. And, like, I just draw on the entirety of my life experience as an actor, you know? I just... And I'm really, really grateful for the varied and diverse life experiences I've had because they inform so much. And having that massive database of experiences to draw on is incredibly helpful. I mean, you've got to practice, I think, drawing on that stuff. Like, I don't know that it's necessarily something that people can just do straight off the bat. Maybe it is, I don't know. But, like, having that there is by no means wasteful. Yeah. You know, it's actually an incredible resource.
Yeah, you bring everything with you that you've done as an actor or, you know, just as a creative person. You bring everything with you to your next creative thing that you do. So
Yeah.
this next question is kind of a bonus question on top of that one. And it says, do you think you'll ever not be a voiceover artist?
No, I will always.
Ooh.
Always, always, always. I'm going to be doing this until I keel over.
Cool. I like that. I think I will dabble in and out. I think
very
I'll
honest.
never fully leave it because I am never happier than one of my components of when I am happiest is when I'm behind the mic. Love it. But there are other components that make me as happy, like teaching. So I think I'll never fully leave, but I'll never not leave. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm so sorry.
I'm going to assume that made sense.
Like you're never going to close the door.
Don't question. Don't question.
You're never
It makes
gonna,
sense.
you're never gonna close the door completely. The
No.
door may be open, it may be cracked,
Yes.
but it's
Yes.
never gonna be completely closed
Yes,
for you.
you know, I might go do something for a couple of years, doing something completely different, and then because I get my brain likes that. I like doing like submersing completely in something for a little while, and then I go, oh, that's right, I really liked this other thing, and then I tottle back that way. But yeah, I think I'll have moments where I'm not doing it, and moments where I absolutely am. Is probably how I would answer that question. Ashton,
I'm in the same camp with Deanna. I just feel like this is my home. Like this is combines all of my loves together, and I could never not see myself doing it. Now, it may look differently down the line than it does now, but I can't ever see myself not continuing to do this and keep pursuing this and doing it. I just love it too much to not do it in the future. And it's just, it's I feel like it's a part of who I am now. And that's not always like a good thing to like say, oh, I am what I do. But I feel like this is a part of me that is very important to me. And I feel like that won't change. If it does, it does. And then I can be flexible and move on to something else. But I really don't see that changing for me at all.
what about you,
same.
Jordan? Will you always be a voiceover artist?
Well, actually, I was thinking about whether I'd always be doing this, and I think yes, although I'm quite like a strong believer in layers of purpose, and then I think once you get through one layer, then you don't really know what your next purpose is. But I certainly love what I do now. And kind of going back one question, I have 3 different things I do. They're all completely different from each other. And we talked about that in season 1, which you guys have to go back and listen to if you haven't already. That's my
Withholding
little
information.
Withholding information, yeah. So, but basically,
Rack up those listens. Rack up
Yeah.
the listens.
yeah. So I work for Les Mills. I do this, and I make kombucha. So they're all completely different. And I think my issue is that I just want to do everything. I want to be successful in bloody everything, and I dream a bit too big, and you end up in these situations. But this year I definitely want to focus on audio because I think I like this job because you can be flexible. You can kind of do it from anywhere. Like right now, we're having this conversation from all different parts in the world, and I love that about this. I just need my headphones and my mind and my computer, and I can make things happen for other people from anywhere in the world. So I like the flexibility of that. Problem is that brewing kombucha in your own house doesn't give you any flexibility and all those sort of things. So I don't know. I think this year I'm definitely focused on audio, and I love it. I can't imagine not doing it, but I also understand that I've done a lot of different things that I wouldn't go back to.
And you
love
probably
that
enjoyed them at the
phrase.
time as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I learned so much when I did do them, and they still apply. I was a chef for a while, and then I was a nanny after that. But I didn't get the nanny job without being the chef because they wanted me to cook food for the kids, and they trusted my ability to do that. So as much as I didn't like the chef job too much, the hours sucked. The environment's not that nice to work in, but it gave me an opportunity to get another job. And without that, I don't know. Everything, you learn something from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way as Jordan a little bit. Like I also have a lot of things that I want to do, but I feel like those are just like those are like my side hustles. Like voiceover is my main, and then like I also want to like write a book. Like I have a book that's half written, and so like I want to finish that one day, and like I have a lot of ideas running around my head all the time. But yeah, voiceover is home for me.
I feel like that too. I like everything I do is an extension of voice of some description. Because I've got a part of a book written as well, which I'm really excited about. And like, the coaching stems from voice, voiceover stems from voice. Funny enough, like all the extra bits. So I think if I was to answer that again, I would say I will never leave voice. Voice will always be the component of the stuff that I will do.
Yeah.
So, piggybacking on that, is there anything that annoys you about the voice acting industry that will keep you from doing this job?
Being last to know really frustrates me.
Explain that.
I'm the last to know when the content I have made is aired. I'm the last to know what script I get. I'm the last to know how much I get paid. It feels like you're an afterthought, and that I don't think it would ever cause me to leave, but that is something that makes me feel very frustrated, feeling like, why am I the last person, even though I'm the person who's doing the amazing creative thing for you? Yes, other people have aided in making scripts and doing the production and all of that sort of stuff, but why do I feel like I'm at the bottom of the hierarchy? I think that's what frustrates me.
That's understandable. Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't bother me at all. But I'm really used to it. Like I'm very well embedded in that process. So for me, it's just there's nothing bothersome about that. It's just how it works,
Yeah.
And I've let go, I guess, over time of a requirement to have that knowledge and awareness. I just trust that everything's going to work out the way that it is, And I also have this whole, because I've been an actor for such a long time, like nothing's done till it's done.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's just the way it is, right? You can do heaps of work on a thing and it never comes to light, or it never gets finished, or whatever, and you never know what the actual final outcome is going to be because you're a cog in the wheel, right? And as I'm not one of the boss cogs, unless I am the boss cog on that project. Do you know what I mean? But for the most part, I am part of a very big picture, and it's just my job to do my job in that big picture, So I don't think there's anything about the industry that annoys me as such. Like things come and go that I'm like, oh, that's a bit dumb, or that I disagree with, or that I wouldn't buy into myself as a way of doing business or whatever. But I just don't think any of it is annoying.
Yeah, I kind of am in the same place. Maybe I haven't been doing this for long enough either. I've only been doing this for 4 years now. 4 years now. I've been doing this for 4 years now, full time. And so maybe I just haven't had enough experience to like think that, oh, okay, like that's something that's super annoying to me. Oh, I know. As a freelancer, this is annoying to me. Chasing down your invoices, your unpaid invoices. But that's just a part of being a business owner. Yeah, that's not really a part of like voiceover per se. That's just part of running a business to me.
Yeah.
That's the most annoying part, but that's more business related than actual voiceover related. Yeah. So
it's interesting because now I've rethought what I've said after listening to you, Deanna. I think why it frustrates me is because I'm at the beginning and things feel uncertain. So that uncertainty makes me feel like, oh, that thing is annoying, but actually there's a blanket uncertainty while I'm still figuring out what I'm doing and what I'm up to. So maybe it's not actually the voiceover stuff in that regard that frustrates me. It's that things feel uncertain, therefore it has an air of frustration.
Yeah.
Ooh, philosophizing my own life.
Breakthroughs. Therapy session. Yay.
Okay, well, now the next question's a little bit more fun. And maybe we can get into this, lighten the mood a little bit after our philosophical discussion.
Philosophizing.
For the philosophizing. What is the funniest thing that has ever happened to you in the booth? The funniest.
I don't know. Do you know what? This is really funny. People ask me about, did you read this script, or what was this job like, or rah, rah, rah. And I don't ever remember, right? Because I think a big part of how I manage my way through this process, and this directly relates to what I was talking about in the question before, is I do the job and then I put it down.
Right.
And I detach myself from the outcomes of the job, right? And so one of the side effects of that is I don't remember things from jobs, right? I go in there, I do my thing, right? And I love it. I'm really, really present, very, very, very present. Like I don't even remember to take photos of myself when I'm doing jobs that I can share on social media because I'm too busy being in the moment, you know?
Right.
So, but the downside of that is that I also don't remember like things that happen in sessions because I do the job, I put it down, I walk away. You know, I'm sure there have been lots and lots and lots of moments. Like I can remember laughing a lot. Like I have a lot of fun when I do my job and funny shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
But I literally can't remember, like I don't have the funniest thing because I don't have a catalogue of it in my head. It's really interesting.
I kind of feel the same way, except I think, if I'm being completely honest, I think some of my funniest booth moments that I have ever had and that I have never laughed as hard have been when we're recording this podcast. Like some of the things that we say and do are genuinely hilarious to me.
Yes.
So I would have to say that is my funniest like recording moment, my funniest booth moment is this right here, like this going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am in. That is like legit. That is 100% accurate. This is one of the funniest and most fun things that I have ever consistently done across my career. And it's just so awesome. I love you guys.
Oh, love you too.
Aw.
We're so in our shields today.
It's so good. Test. Funniest thing ever.
Oh, well, is it funny or is it awkward? I don't know.
Both.
Then I have two. One's very short and the other one's not so short. The first one was doing a little like in-house job for Google, and the reason why the brand is important is because it makes sense for the rest of the story. So normally when we were doing because I was in a studio. And they were like, normally they'd be like, cool, we're going to connect you on Zoom so that they can see you and blah, 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 blah. And the guy went to say, or the engineer went to say, I'll connect you on Zoom. Oh, sorry, connect you on Google Meet because the client is Google and we will join on Google Meet. And I went, oh, yes, of course. So much sense. I went into the booth, engineer out there, and then I could see my computer screen and I said into my mic, I was like, oh, is Zoom running? And you saw the client kind of like turn and look at me and be like, and I went, is Google Meet running?
Oh, no.
Because I saw that, like, because the client turned, I went, fuck. And then the engineer's head left, and I went, fuck. So, like, to be fair, it probably was 2% of the way that I felt in that moment. But because he literally just said, no, we're on Google Meet because we're doing a thing for Google. So that was really fun. That was also the same day that my back tried to seize. It was,
Fun
What a day.
but the other one was, it literally happened 2 days ago. I was booked. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not going to say that I was booked. My agent texted me and said, are you available to do a case study on whatever day it was? I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I've never heard of a case study before. What kind of voice thing is that? And she went, oh, it's a case study. And I went, okay.
That was helpful, thanks.
That was helpful.
Definitely clarified things.
Reading back over her texts now, I realised that I fucked up. But for the sake of the story, I'm going to say how it was for me perceptually in that point in time. It's like a case study. Okay. If I was to answer what I thought a case study was, because I come from a science background, to me, that is interviewing a human being on an experience to, compare it to other things. So, yeah, or like, because you have like randomized control studies. So that's like a big version of a study. And then you have case studies. I was like, okay, case study. They're going to interview me about being a voiceover artist. That's so cool. How amazing. I drove there and I was actually just naturally feeling a little bit tight that morning because I hadn't slept very well. I was like, oh, I'll just do some straws on the car there. I'll just get my voice on. Got there and I was prepared to, sit down and be interviewed. And the guy, and they walk me into a booth and I'm like, oh, maybe they're just doing the recording in a booth. Oh, that's fine, whatever. And then the guy was like, cool, so here's your script and we're going to be doing blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? And he's like, you're here for the case study, aren't you? And I was like, yeah, I'm here for the case study. And he was like, the case study. We were going backwards and forwards saying the same two words at each other, not knowing that we're both talking about different things. And then he started reading the script to me and I was like, I didn't want to interrupt him. He got to the end of it and I'm like, look, I'm really sorry. I just have to tell you, I didn't think I was reading today. I'm here for a case study. And he was like, a case study voiceover. And I was like, I thought I was coming in to be interviewed. So we had this huge misunderstanding of what was going on. And it turned out I was reading that day and I did have to do a voiceover that day, but I thought I was going in to be interviewed. And he's like, well, what did you think it was? And I was like, well, I thought, because, I'm from science and this is what I thought. And he's like, no, a case study is when a marketing company, from my brief understanding, marketing company explains to the people that they were working for through voiceover why they made the choices they made on the thing that they did. So
it's really like an explainer video or something like that. Like it's
Yeah.
really like a corporate internal kind of gig.
It's an explainer video, not a fucking interview. I came out of that, rang my partner, and he's like, oh, hey, how you going? How was the interview? And I was like, it wasn't a fucking interview. He's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I did a voiceover. And he's like, how are you feeling? I'm confused. So that was my funny, embarrassing, awkward, but, it all went perfectly well and no
'Cause you're a
problems at all.
professional, Tess,
Because I'm a
that's why.
professional. And if anything, it actually gave me, because sometimes I can be a bit nervous going into professional bookings. And actually what happened is I was like, well, I'm fucking here now. This is happening.
Just do
It
the
was
thing.
really fun. It was really fun. But that was probably my funniest booth moment.
That is hilarious. We have a couple more questions to go over. Let's see. For the sake of time, I'm gonna look through the rest and pick a good one. Ooh, here's one I like. Who is your favorite voice actor or voiced film / TV series?
Oh, there's two really good questions in there. Should we
Yeah.
split it up? So voice actor first.
Voice actor, and then it says voiced TV or film series. So I'm assuming like
Animation?
animated series or like dub.
Yeah, that's
would
what that
both
sounds
qualify.
like.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite? I feel like, Ashton, you want to go first on who your favorite voice actor is.
Oh, I can't choose a one favorite. How do you choose one favorite? I have favorites in categories.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Gosh, how do you choose one favorite? It's also you would choose a favorite voice actor. I feel like it's not just their performances are amazing, but they might also be a really awesome human being.
So just
Some of
just
those-
rattle off a few. Who were some of your favourites, Ashton? Come on, just say some names.
I love Bob Bergen. I've always loved Bob Bergen. He's so wise and
Funny and nice and
so funny and nice and he's such a veteran in this career and is amazing. D. Bradley Baker, another one who I was just I just can't. The
Full
voiceover
fangirl
industry will never be the same because of D. Bradley Baker. I mean, just also another helpful person to help people who are just starting out in their careers. Another person I really admire is Kari Walgren. Oh my gosh. She I know.
Oh,
She
know who
is,
it is.
oh, Google it.
Yeah, you do.
Yes,
you do.
You actually do.
Oh,
And
I
this
do.
is my difficulty with these questions, right? I am really bad with remembering names in
me
real
too.
life, let alone in that space. I when you mention names, Ashton, often I'll be like, oh my God, that person's amazing. But I wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily think of the name myself, just because it's not something that's in my regular kind of frame of reference. But I think Kari Walgren is amazing, and I can't remember her name right now, which is really awful. But she has blonde, kind of curly hair. She's American. She's her name starts with C. Is it Cecilia or I've forgotten her name, but she's fucking amazing.
What's she
And
in? Do you remember what something that she's in or that she
Animation,
voices?
definitely animation, video games.
Yeah.
I will Google it off to the side. You guys talk. I'll come back to you and tell you who she
Okay.
is.
Yeah, so those would be those to me are the goats of
Yeah.
the industry, especially in animation. I mean, I guess you could say that those three are heavily in animation, but also video games and other things. To me, those are the goats of the goats. But there's also other people who I super admire. I really love. I mean, Tara Strong has done everything.
she's
I love Tara
incredible.
Strong.
Gosh,
I
she's
love her work.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So those are some of my personal favorites, but I don't think those are any big surprise to anybody
No.
who's like in this space. You know, you could name like the greats of all time. Like, yeah, who's the greatest basketball player of all time? Oh, it's Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, there are people, or Kobe Bryant. There's people who like, okay, automatically come to mind. If I had to dig a little deeper, I really, let's see, who would I pick? The thing is that it's also like sometimes you know some of these people. So I could say I really love Craig Lee Thomas, but I know him as a person.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think my
harder.
favorite voice actors are you guys, to be honest.
Aw, thank you.
I'll take it. I'll take that.
Yeah, especially
Thank
you,
you.
Jordan.
You
You're
take
my
it.
favorite
You take it.
voice actor.
Outstanding. I needed a
What about
compliment.
you, Tessa? Do you have any favorite voice actors?
I
in particular?
do. And they are all the heavyweights, to be fair, the ones that, you know, that we all know and love. And the reason being is that my introduction into voiceover is still quite new. So like those big names are popping up for me because those are my first interaction. You know, like I love Hank Azaria. I love Nancy Cartwright. And I also, for different reasons, so I love them because they're so extremely versatile. Like you can hear them in the same show and not realize it's the same person.
Yeah.
I really, really love Nick Kroll because he has a sound that he manipulates slightly. But the character work is so fantastic. So you're like, when he's doing Big Mouth, I'm like, that's Nick Kroll, that's Nick Kroll, that's Nick Kroll. But they all feel different. They sound similar. And I love him for that because I think as a voice actor for myself, that's something I'm learning to work with more is the feeling of a character as opposed to the sound of a character. So I love those big heavyweights who can manipulate and make you fall in love with characters and all that sort of thing. But I really enjoy Nick Kroll for that reason, that he is able to emulate so many characters with a voice that's got minuscule differences. And I love that.
So good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible. Jenny Slate is another.
Jenny Slate's, I mean, she's just funny.
Oh my days.
She is just, I mean, incredible.
Like I know it's not a voiceover job, but her in Parks and Recreation, I would consider that a voiceover job because her voice is astronomically funny. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. Don't be suspicious.
Suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Yeah, I love her. I just love her so much.
Oh, she was amazing. But yeah, they would be my favorites. And I think I'm excited to learn about more as I go. Because again, I know the heavyweights, but I'm excited to start learning who other people are.
I have one more who's another big heavyweight. I mean, like huge superstar, but he's more in the video game space, and that's Troy Baker. Troy Baker, oh my gosh, Troy Baker is just like, talk about a talent. I can't believe the sounds and the voices and the acting ability that comes out of this human being is just, I mean, top tier, phenomenal. If you know video game voices or voiceover, you know Troy Baker, and he's just amazing. Deanna, did you find who you were looking for, or no? Okay,
No.
then we're just gonna move on to our last question of the day before we move on to sounds I can't make. So the last question we're gonna go over is, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
That's interesting, right? Probably doing roughly the same kinds of things that I'm doing now, like in terms of like overarching stuff, right? So teaching and coaching, that's not going to go away, right? Like I have definitely found one of my callings in life as a teacher and a coach. It's going to morph. It's going to change. It's going to look different in 10 years. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be coaching and teaching in 10 years because my coaching and teaching directly reflects my skill set and what I'm capable of doing myself and what I can teach other people. So as I develop and grow and learn new things, then I will start teaching and coaching different elements of my professional life, right? Like in 10 years, I may be a business coach. I'm not sure, right? In 5 years, I may be a life coach or something. I don't know how that's going to look. From a photography perspective, I've been a professional photographer for 15 years now, and that's changed a lot the first half of my career, I shot families and weddings. This second half of my career so far as a photographer, I shoot corporate headshots. I do business branding. I've been an acting headshot photographer for the whole time. You know, I like to change and morph. It keeps things interesting for me, and that's going to keep happening. But those core things and voiceover, you know, I've been in commercial and corporate like for my entire 25-year career, right? But I want to be in video games, right? And so at some point in the next couple of years, I suspect I'm going to make the step into that space, you know? So I don't know what exactly I'll be doing in 10 years, but I will still be a voice talent. I will still be acting on screen, right? I may have gone back to theatre by then. I'm not sure. It depends. You know, I've got kids at home at the moment that make theatre like impractical just because of the time that it takes to do that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But I may go back to theatre. I will always be an actor. I will always be a voice talent. I'm pretty sure I will always be a photographer going forward because it's just the most beautiful creative outlet. I fucking love it. And I will always be a teacher and a coach now because I always have been, just not officially. You know, I see parenting as a teaching coaching role, you know.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think those kind of three like buckets of what I do, containers of what I do are always going to exist now. And who knows what else is going to get added. I have so many ideas about shit that I want to do, you know, and I'm 48 years old now. So I have like a long time left that I can be creative and functional and doing exciting things in the world. And I'm just going to keep doing exciting, functional, fun shit. That's my life, basically. Do fun shit.
Yeah. I mean, not to like piggyback on you again, be like, yeah, I agree with Deanna again for this whole
I'm really
thing.
clever
Yeah.
and say awesome things all the time. No.
We always agree with Deanna.
But,
always agree with her.
But it's true. Like what's so great about being a creative person is that I feel like I'm always surprised. Like I never, if you would have asked me a couple years ago, like if I would be doing this podcast, I couldn't have told you that I would be doing this.
Totally.
Or teaching at a university or, you know, so many of the other things that I've done. So I feel like it is a really hard question to answer because I'm excited not knowing where I'm going to be in 10 years. I'm excited to be doing things that I haven't even like dreamt up yet.
Yes.
You know, isn't that exciting? And to be doing those things. So I'm super stoked about that. I don't think I'm so like, I am not a planner person. Like I am a fly by the seat of my pants kind of gal. Yeah, I'm a doer. So I'm going to, when I find the thing I want to do, I'm just going to go do it. So I can't wait until the next idea or thing comes my way and I can do the next thing whenever that is. That's what I'm excited about.
Love it.
That
oh my
is
God.
so cool.
That's so great.
I love
and I feel
that.
exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Like I have ideas, but what they look like is I have no idea really. You know, like I never, like 5 years ago, if you told me I would be running a voice program at one of the premier like performance schools, drama schools in the world, I would have gone, don't be fucking stupid, right?
Yeah.
But that is what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
And half of these things happen because other people see potential and go, hey, why don't you do this? You know, half of it happens because I'm like, I'm going to do that and I just fucking make it happen, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of it comes up because other people have gone, have you thought about this? Try this. Here's an opportunity for you. And I step into opportunities. I say yes to stuff even when I'm fucking terrified, right? And that's why, Ashton, we don't know what's going to happen or what it's going to look like because we're really happy to be scared and do the thing anyway.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is scary, but I almost like that fear.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
It's the best. Yeah.
I like that fear. It's really driving, you know, to me to have that fear and to do the thing anyway. And I can say from experience, 90% of the time it works out. You know what I mean? Like if you say yes to the opportunities, 90% of the time it really is going to work out in one way or another.
Yeah, exactly, right. And your anticipation is always like way more intense than the reality of whatever it is that's scaring you. You know, the idea of a thing is what like gets us into that panic state. The reality of doing it is never as scary
100%.
as what we imagine it could be. Because it's our brain's job, right? To go, oh, worst case scenario, fucking wah, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's just what happens to us. So yeah, I like that fear. That fear generally means I'm very, very excited by something. And the fear is really just about like, what if it doesn't work and I don't get to keep doing this, or I make a fool of myself or whatever, right? But for the most part, that fear comes from like, this is a challenge. This is a stretch. This is the unknown. I am now outside of my comfort zone.
Yes.
Fuck yes. Let's go is how I feel about that.
Totally. I'm on the same page 100%. What about you, Tess?
I'm halfway on your guys' page. I'm halfway there. So it's interesting because I love everything that everybody has said, but my way of survival throughout life is to be a planner. And so what that has done is meant that I've had to change the way I've had to learn how to be okay with not knowing. Even in the last like 3 months, I've had to learn how to be okay with that. So like, because when they're like, what do you want in 10 years? I was like, I could list physical things, which is like, you know, I want to have I would love to run a voice academy of some kind. I would love to have an app that has everything that I have ever learned about character voices, about safe voices, about everything in an app where you can use it and you can learn with me. I want to be a coach. I want to be a public
such
speaker.
a good idea.
Freaking love public speaking. It's right, obviously, in my alley. You know, there's but what I now have to do is go, okay, I've done a lot of the planning. I've done a lot of the work. Now I need to do things that excite me. So for where I see myself in the next 10 years is collaborating with people and doing shit that's fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great, like, place to be in 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow. What a great place to be in 10 years. I can't wait to, like, for us to, like, catch up maybe in 10 years and, like, revisit this question and see, like, what our lives look like in 10
Imagine
years.
if the podcast's still going in 10 years.
Or we're doing like a reunion special.
That would be
Be in
awesome.
for
Yeah.
that. Jordan,
I'm
do you have
down.
a 10-year thought?
What I was thinking was that it's a very interesting question to ask for different people. Like some of us are wired to plan, and someone will say to you, "What's your 5 and 10 year plan with business?" And you look at them and you're like, sorry, what?" and you kind of know you should have one, but then you also, I feel comfortable sitting into the unknown as well. So I'm just like, and I'll say yes. And, you know, someone's like, "Can you do this?" I'm like, "Yep." And I've got no idea how to do it. I'll just say yes, you know, and then you end up talking to someone here and networking over there, and then all of a sudden something's happened and you, like everybody, no one really thought they were going to be doing this right now, you know, on a Thursday night / Friday afternoon / probably Friday morning. Deanna. You know, 5-10 years ago, there's probably wasn't really, I mean, I don't know if anyone was even thinking about podcasts 10 years ago. So I can't answer that. I'll be dreaming big still, but I don't know what I'll be doing like inside of that. I don't know what my purpose will be, but like I said before, I definitely love this type of work. It sits well with me, so I would be surprised if I wasn't doing something like this. But yeah, that's my answer. That's all I got.
Nice.
I love all of our answers. I think that whether we are still being surprised by life or we have planned it out to exactly what we're going to do, I think that all of us are really awesome, creative, and fun people. And so I can imagine all of us still being awesome, fun, and creative in 10 years.
Yay. That's a beautiful thing to be like, where am I going to be in 10 years? Awesome, fun, and creative. Yay.
Perfect.
For me, happiness is key, right? It's really, and I don't mean that like, must be smiley and happy all the time. For me, happiness is really about like being satisfied with what I've got going on in my space and my world, you know, and that's a real driver for me. So that's not going to change.
That's awesome. Yeah. As long as I'm doing something that still makes me happy and brings me joy. Yeah. That will be the best. That would be the best.
Yeah.
Okay, team. Shall we move on to our first Sounds We Can't Make of season 3?
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All
Bring it
right,
on.
so I'm going to pass over the reins to you, Jordan.
Okay.
Our resident sounds I can't make
Boss guy.
czar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zah. I like Zah.
I actually re-listened to the way that I spoke about this, and I was like, I wasn't happy with that. Felt like I was being a bit of a bully. But admittedly, even now, so season 2, I was like, I'll do this, and then I was like, wow, this is hard and this is difficult. So now season 3, to hold myself accountable, I'm trying to do a better job of this as well for everybody. So if you're watching the video, you'll be able to see and hear better. If you're watching the audio, it'll just sound better. So let me sort this out now, and hopefully you guys can hear it all right. All right, here's the sound for the day.
Well,
You
I
want
like
it
the
again?
tunes.
The tune's great.
Yeah, do one more time. One more time.
One more time. Mouth horn. Let's do it.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That's like beatboxing, right? Like that's
yeah.
It's an element of beatboxing. It has to
Yeah.
be.
yeah.
Because there's not many like vocalizations that I know of that I do with my lips fully closed.
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
hear so much tongue movement in there.
It's also kind of like she's a ventriloquist. You know what I mean?
Oh, so like really like loud sound and coming from behind. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, like a loud sound coming through a closed.
And
Mouth.
really it's coming through a nose, right? Like that's why the mouth is closed, I think, also,
Yeah.
because it gives it that nasal kind of quality, right? But I don't know if I feel like it's vibration based as opposed to like I can sing that song, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what that is.
No.
Oh,
So-
I understand. So you can go and also go. I can't. So you think
See,
So
that was
she's
vibration
doing
through
the-
my lips.
she's doing it through not her chords making the sound, but something like tongue height creating different pitches. Is that what you think's happening, Deanna?
Yeah, I think so. Like I feel like that there's some sort of like tongue vibration going on in there and lip vibration as well, but I could be wrong.
It could be that, but also if you think about, so I am not a horn player myself, but if you think about the way that a horn makes noise, it's air being pushed through a space and having that space be open and closed to certain, right? To make the sound. Kind of like a whistle, but there's also resonance and all of that in there. So maybe her the way that she's making the sound is like I feel like it might be like a very high-pitched hum that she controls the horn sound with her lips. That's what I think.
Ah, so she's got a vocalization going on a pitch, but she's manipulating it with
At the articulation level.
At the articulation level. Oh.
Someone have a go.
Because I can't. I don't think I can eat because my partner can make the coolest elephant sound. He goes and does and I can't. I'm gonna have to
We
pull
hold
my.
our lips together.
I'm gonna pull mine tight. I think though. I wasn't expecting that sound to happen. No, I don't know what's happening.
Can you, Tess,
Yeah.
you?
It's like a kazoo in speech therapy.
Yeah.
I said I've got too much lip surface going on there.
Yeah.
No, I can't do this.
Like I can't get much detail in it.
Yeah.
Let me try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the resonance. That's what it
Yeah.
is. I also can't whistle either, so I should just preface that way.
Can you guys go like this? Can you make that noise?
Almost. No, fuck, too much lip.
Because it's not real. It's not happening in my lips. That right? I can do it with my mouth open. And it's
Oh, that's
tongue
easier.
movement that changes it, right? Like I'm just moving my tongue around in my mouth and my lips a bit.
Oh, that's cute.
I don't
I
know if
like
it's
it. I like
but-
it though.
I think that was a lot closer than we got.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to try.
Oh, yes,
Hey,
Jordan.
Go.
Go for
Yeah,
it, Jordan.
feel like I'm. Sometimes it's funny, because like from my set side, I always think maybe you guys are overthinking this, like over analyzing it, rather than being like, I'm just going to make a horn sound,
Okay, go.
and then, but that's just, and then obviously I try, and obviously things go wrong, and you guys are like trying to think about how to. It's really interesting for me because I don't even think like that. I'm just like, how do I make the sound of a horn? I kind of visualize what it would be, rather than trying to think how to
visualization's
actually
really
do it.
important in this kind of thing, I reckon.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay, let's try. Yeah.
Go all the way through. So that's tongue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was using it quite a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
up and down.
Huh.
I don't know if
So we
that's
listen
what
to
she's
her
got.
again.
Yeah, I'll
Can you
put it
play
on
her
again.
again?
I just want to watch her face and
Yeah,
see what
yeah,
her
me
lips
too,
are doing because
me
it's like
too.
she's tight. She's really tight.
So there's
know
even a
what?
growl in there. There's like a.
And her larynx is real active as well. So obviously her tongue's doing a lot. that correct?
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
think it is?
Yeah.
It's, I think that it's fake. I think she's just going like this, and someone else is playing a horn behind the camera.
Interesting.
That's what I think.
Done.
That's what
No
I
wonder
think.
we can't make the sound. It's not fucking real.
She can't make it either. She can't make it either.
You know what? I have a friend who can do this, so it can be
Jordan.
done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Theory debunked.
it's his thing. It's his horn. It's his thing.
Send
I'm
your
like,
horn
oh.
sounds in, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send your horn. Not real. Don't play a horn and send it to us. Like actually do the vocal stuff. We want to hear it.
Yeah,
No cheating.
I've got one more ditch. You know that pufferfish exercise? Oh my God, I'm lightheaded.
Yeah. Wow.
Careful.
That was like
Careful,
fully
Tess.
occluded.
Like just a little bit. I wonder if I can make it more nasal. Oh, am I going to pass out? No, I'm all good.
No, okay, let's.
The craft is more important. I don't know. No, I take it
She's
back.
got
I
a
don't
whole
like it.
bunch of like,
Yeah.
Whole bunch of stuff.
like
Yeah.
is in there as well. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a
Yeah.
little bit of that like growl in there.
Yeah.
See, but I think that you were closer when you had your mouth open, Deanna,
Yeah.
to that sound, that like
Yeah.
whole sound that a horn makes. So I don't know how she's doing it with her lips closed.
Yeah. I think, Ashton, you're right on the assessment of like ventriloquism. It's got so much of that going on.
Yeah, and I don't know how to be a ventriloquist. So
me either.
maybe in 10 years I'll be doing ventriloquist stuff.
Could be the beginning of a whole new thing.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the premiere of season 3 of the Good Talkers podcast. We have loved talking the good talk with each other and with all of you. Thank you so much for all of your awesome questions. Really, really, really great ones. If you have, we might do this again potentially in the future. So if you have any other questions about voiceover, about anything that we've talked about, or you have some kind of a story you would like to share, or even if you want to try and do some sounds that we could not make, but potentially you could make, please let us know. Reach out to us. We're on all kinds of social medias. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or you could send us a voice note, give us an email, send it to thegoodtalkerspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. Now we're on YouTube officially. And if you want to see our beautiful faces. And thank you again for joining us, for being part of this podcast, because we love it and we love you. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Catch ya.